Our story begins as one man introduces himself as careless, stating that he is a mercenary, and asks if anyone knows where they are. Another man, wearing a confused expression, introduces himself as Lyle and says he owns a carpenter shop, adding that he has no memory of where they are or why they are here. A fat man introduces himself as Grit, saying he runs a street stall shop, and admits that he also has no clue about the situation. A woman calls herself Jenna and states that she lives in a remote forest, saying she has no idea why she is here either. Islet Han, a farmer, says he also has no idea why he is here. So all 11 people gathered have no idea where they are or how they ended up here. One person from the group suggests that maybe they were dragged here by a mage for experiments, but the mercenary immediately shuts that idea down. Suddenly, an unknown voice asks the group what they are all talking about. A pixie flies out of a portal and states that her master has opened a time and space portal, and that the people gathered here need to prepare to fight. Yeah, everything makes sense now. Don't know where they are and now getting asked to fight by Pixie as it is her master's wish. Boys, get ready for Hunger Games. Everyone just stares in confusion at the tiny Pixie as she casually tells them to get ready to fight. One of the members asks who she is, and the Pixie replies that her name is Isel, that she is the manager of this place, and warns him to stay in line if he does not want to get hurt. The mercenary angrily asks if she is the one who brought them here, but the Pixie replies that it is none of his business. I think this is his business as he was pulled here without his will. This response angers the mercenary even more, and he draws his blade, declaring that he will make the Pixie spill the information about why she kidnapped them. The tiny Pixie simply sighs and tells the mercenary to stop acting stupid unless he wants to die. The mercenary prepares to attack and declares that he will teach the Pixie a lesson, but in an instant, his neck is slashed. His head rolls across the ground, and a message appears stating the cause of death as suicide due to stress. The Pixie, with a horrifying expression, states that anyone who dares lay a finger on her will die instantly, as it is a self-destruct system. The others gathered begin to panic, unable to believe that he just died like that. Everyone starts pleading and asks what she wants, and the Pixie calmly replies that they only need to be obedient, fight, and win, that is all. Another message appears for the Pixie, stating that a party has been formed and instructing to drag and drop the heroes. Lyle, Ranto, Marlin, Kelkard, and Jackson are all placed into Party 1, and the Pixie states that her master has finally begun. She tells everyone to get ready. She moves toward a giant stone door and chants for the crack of time and space to open. The door slowly begins to open. Everyone in Group 1 is completely stunned by the sight. The Pixie casually tells them to enter the door if they do not want to die like the last guy. While all of this is happening, one of the players says he has a question to ask. The Pixie angrily snaps back asking what it is, and it turns out to be the farmer, who asks if she wants them to climb a tower, explaining that they are all only one-star heroes with no weapons, and at this rate they would just be a suicide squad. Something tells me this is not the first time this guy is facing this situation. The forest woman thinks to herself that the Pixie just singled this man out, and wonders what all this talk about towers even means, as the farmer continues by saying that even a 2-star warrior just died, so shouldn't they at least be given something? The Pixie thinks it over and admits to herself that he has a point. She sends a message to her master stating that the heroes do not have any equipment. She suggests summoning equipment, and a message appears stating that heroes without weapons have been granted old iron swords. Another message appears showing that a 10 times summon has been cast using 50,000 gold. Everyone begins receiving random weapons, and one man asks if Han the farmer knows something about this place, but Han denies it, saying he has not been here long. The forest woman grows even more suspicious of him. Han then tells everyone to grab a weapon from a nearby shed, saying that it will start soon. Everyone panics, wondering what he means by that, questioning if a battle is about to begin, but Han ignores them and calmly heads toward the shed to pick up his weapon. Some people say they have never fought before, while others silently begin choosing their weapons. Soon everyone has picked a weapon, but while some look terrified, others appear confident. The pixie shouts at them and orders all 5 to enter the gate immediately. One of them approaches the gate and touches it. He hesitates, feeling pressure from the gate, but the pixie yells at them to stop dawdling and enter immediately. We see that Han has picked up a shield, confusing the forest woman, as she prepares for battle with her bow, while in the background one person says he does not want to go in. The forest woman asks Han if he knows what is going on, why they have to fight, and who that pixie really is, but Han casually replies that she asks too many questions and tells her to just enter the arena, kill all the enemies, and everything will take care of itself. Suddenly, a message appears stating that Marlin has returned to the goddess's embrace, shocking both the farmer and the forest woman. The same message appears again, but this time it is Kelkard. The same message appears for Ranto and Kaskard as well, and Han simply states that this is why they are only 1-star heroes, while the forest woman asks what that message meant, but Han tells her to keep quiet. Another message appears, and this time it is Lyle. The pixie makes an angry face and declares that Party 1 has been annihilated, calling them useless bastards for getting wiped out on the first floor. Another party is formed, this time consisting of Han the farmer, Jenna the forest woman, and Dajil, Grit, and Kale, and Han calmly states that it is their turn next, while the forest woman asks why the previous group is not coming back. Is she this dumb? How has she not figured out they are dead in there? An old man walks up to the pixie and complains that his arthritis is acting up, asking to be left out of this, but the pixie simply calls him an old punk. Dude just diagnosed himself with arthritis just to skip death. Something tells me this is not going to work. The pixie angrily curses at him and orders him to get in already, as the forest woman drags the old man toward the portal, while Han leads the group with a sword and shield in his hands. As everyone enters, the pixie suddenly yells that she believes they can do this. I never thought we will hear encouraging words from our pixie friend. Everyone looks amazed, but the tower stands before them. Everyone is confused about what kind of place this is, with some thinking it might be a temple, and a huge portal stands in front of them. The portal displays a screen showing main dungeon, current floor first, climb the tower and save the world. A message appears stating that the gate is opening and tells everyone to get ready, and Han orders them not to freeze up and to prepare themselves. A bright light flashes across their faces, the brightness completely swallowing them. They are teleported to an open field beneath a vast open sky. Everyone struggles to process what just happened, completely confused about where they are. I feel sorry for them getting kidnapped twice in the same day. One man asks where they are, and Han simply replies, "Where else?" What do you mean by that, dude? Just explain them why you have to be so mysterious, just gatekeeping all the secrets. They are facing goblins, and a system message appears stating that their objective is to annihilate their enemies. I have to say these goblins look weird as hell. They look like if Goblin and Boar had a baby. Han reminds everyone that he warned them they would die if they did not fight, and tells them to pull themselves together. He looks back and realizes that 3 of them have already dropped their weapons and run away, leaving only the forest woman Jenna standing beside him. She shouts at the fleeing old man, asking if his arthritis is gone now, and he replies that it just got better, as a message appears stating that fear has gripped everyone and all their stats have been reduced by 30%. All 3 men slam their heads into an invisible wall while trying to escape. Jenna stares in shock as she realizes they are surrounded by an invisible barrier. The fat man asks why they cannot get out, the tall man complains that his back hurts, and the old man begs the system to let him out because he needs to take a shit. Han calls them pathetic and notes that he is the only one whose stats have not dropped by 30%. Jenna asks if they can escape if they kill the goblins. Han answers yes and asks if she knows how to use that bow, and Jenna replies that her father was a hunter, so their strategy is for Han to tank the attacks while Jenna shoots the goblins from the back line. Jenna asks about the rest of the group, but Han tells her to leave them, as they will be no help. The goblins growl, their sharp teeth ready to pierce the party, drool spilling everywhere. To be honest, I am just impressed how clean their teeth are for a goblin. The goblins begin their charge, and Han braces himself. Han prepares to face the goblin horde head-on, stating that he has never wielded a sword or shield before this moment. A goblin leaps at him, cleaver in hand, ready to strike Han. He declares that his real name is Han Seojin, and that he has crossed over into a game ruled entirely by luck. He guards himself from the attack as Jenna draws her bow, ready to release her shot. The scene shifts back to the real world, showing a mobile game created by Mobius called Pick Me Up. The objective of the game is to reach the 100th floor using strategy and tactics to clear each stage. The protagonist states that until yesterday, he was living an ordinary life, simply playing games. While playing this game, an update appeared called Transcendental Advent. He explains that heroes are ranked from 1 to 7 stars, and even after thousands of paid gacha pulls, he has never received anything above 5 stars, even though other players have, and he is about to enter a dungeon with a low drop rate that rewards a book of reversal capable of granting a 7-star hero. He explains that unlike other games, Pick Me Up follows hardcore rules. He states that heroes cannot be revived once they die, and his usual tactic is to send expendable reconnaissance teams to scout dangerous dungeons. He enters the Advent dungeon. A warning flashes as fear overtakes all members, and he wonders why these characters are so scared. He thinks to himself that it does not matter, as he only sent this team to scout anyway. Suddenly, a shadowy figure stabs his character with its hand, and the figure's level reads 999, making him wonder if this is some kind of bug. A message appears stating you lose. RMC thinks it is obviously a system error. He tells himself that they died before he could even read the boss's attack patterns, and that he gained absolutely nothing from it. The shadowed figure begins to grow larger, wearing a creepy smile, and RMC thinks the game should have already ended, but the figure simply says, "Found you." Suddenly everything goes dark, and RMC is struck with a message stating, "Creating an account. Choose your name." RMC has been dragged into the game itself and is completely confused, as the system asks if he wants to play the tutorial, promising a predetermined reward upon completion. As RMC opens his eyes, a message appears stating that in a small town of the Heim province, there lived a boy named Han Islet. That's RMC. RMC finds himself holding a sword, surrounded by fire, completely confused about what is happening. The system displays a warning that an unknown entity has entered, and that if RMC wishes to save the world, he must climb the tower. A hand suddenly appears from behind a cracked wall. RMC turns around to look at it. A message appears ordering him to take down the goblins that have invaded the town. Just then, a goblin appears right in front of RMC, completely confusing him about what is going on. Fear grips him to his core as he wonders if this is really happening. But reality does not give him time to think. The goblin leaps toward him and attacks. Pure instinct kicks in, and RMC barely manages to raise his guard in time, deflecting the attack with his sword. He pushes the goblin back with all his strength. He then prepares his own attack. RMC slashes the goblin, and its blood sprays everywhere. RMC struggles to breathe as his mind fails to process the fact that he has just killed another living being. A system message appears stating that a reward has been granted and instructs him to check his mailbox. He arrives before a massive dungeon and is shocked to see that everything looks familiar, as it is exactly the same as Pick Me Up, the game he plays. A message appears asking, "Master, will you pull for a comrade before the next stage?" The message further explains that the first summon is free and that 500 gems have been provided for a high-rank summon. RMC, completely confused, yells out asking what is happening. The gates of the dungeon in front of him slowly open, and golden light begins to pour out. A blonde girl wearing golden armor appears, and a message displays that the master has received a 4-star hero, Shay. Still confused, RMC stares at the summon. He wonders if he was summoned in the same way. The woman asks if RMC is the one who summoned her. The blonde knight walks toward him and introduces herself as Shay Lathistry. Another message appears asking if he wishes to form a party with the hero. It displays that Han, 1 star, and Shay, 4 star, have formed a party. They are teleported back into the dungeon and face goblins once more, and Shay asks RMC if he is a newbie because his stance is terrible, to which RMC replies that it is his first time. Within minutes, the stage is cleared, with Shay clearly being the MVP, and RMC admits that since she is 3 stars higher than him, she had no trouble clearing the stage, and he is relieved because of that. But the easy part ends there, and the real problem begins. They arrive in a massive cylindrical room, and a message appears stating a method to enhance heroes, synthesis, as the doors open. Our MC realizes that this will be the end of him. At that moment, a familiar voice calls out to him. It is the pixie, ordering our MC to hurry inside because her master is waiting. Our MC is completely dumbfounded by her words. Our MC shouts at the pixie, Isel, causing her to panic as she asks how he knows her name and what he really is. Our MC calmly states that he knows her because he is one of the pick-me-up users, and that his real name is Han Seojin, prompting Isel to check the user guide and find his real name listed there. However, Isel becomes confused when she sees that the image does not match him, and our MC asks her to send him back while still trying to speak politely. Isel asks if our MC is from Earth, and he angrily confirms that he is. This terrifies Isel even more, making her believe she is losing her mind, as this is not supposed to happen. She panics and shouts at him to just go inside first. Our MC shouts back that he will die if he goes in, and Isel replies that he will only be synthesized, but our MC says that it is the same thing. Ignoring him, Isel throws him inside anyway, and we see that Shay is already standing there. Shay calls out to our MC, telling him to stop being so loud. A system message appears stating that synthesis is starting. We see our MC's hands beginning to evaporate. Our MC panics as the synthesis process starts. We are told that synthesis is a process used to enhance a hero by combining 2 heroes. One of the 2 is sacrificed for the other. A game-like explanation appears showing that when MC and Shay enter the synthesis room, Shay will absorb the MC and become stronger. Our MC explains that since Shay is a 4-star hero, the weaker one is normally sacrificed to enhance the stronger one. Our MC prepares himself for death, because no one would ever add a 1-star hero to a 4-star hero. In a dark void, a system message appears stating, synthesis complete. It is our MC, and he looks slightly stronger, completely confused. He says it makes no sense, questioning why Shay, a 4-star hero, is the one disappearing. Bro doesn't know about plot armor. Shay fades away with sadness in her eyes, saying that she simply was not chosen. She smiles at our MC and tells him to leave the rest to him. Our MC stands alone in the synthesis room, completely dumbfounded. He cannot believe that he is still alive. We return to the dungeon, where the fat man from our MC's team is being stabbed. Each person who abandoned our MC is being chased down by goblins and brutally stabbed. Our MC smashes his shield into a goblin's face and declares that he survived. Our MC thinks that whoever is managing this account either made a mistake during the drag-and-drop synthesis or is playing without thinking. He says he was lucky, and that Shay died only because the master was stupid. As we see, he has already defeated 3 goblins and asks where the remaining 2 are. Jenna says she got one and does not know about the other, so our MC tells her to come back and says they will deal with it later. But a goblin suddenly appears behind him and stabs him with a cleaver. Our MC turns to face the goblin, and only one thought fills his mind. He does not know why he ended up inside this game, but he did not just get summoned as Han Islet, he is also nothing more than a 1-star hero. He screams at the goblin and releases all his frustration by smashing his shield into its face. Our MC recalls the horrifying face of the bugged monster and the way it laughed at him. Our MC concludes that this must be the reason he was dragged here. But our MC is not the type to give up, and he declares that they messed with the wrong person. We see a terrifying expression on our MC's face as he repeatedly batters the goblin's face with his shield. We finally see the goblin fall, as Jenna runs toward our MC. She calls him Appa and asks about his arm, and our MC replies that he will be fine once they go back. We see that our MC has lost one arm and his shield is completely broken, and he explains that there is no direct player control over combat in this game, as heroes fight on their own, which is the very reason this game is famous. You can observe this world like a god, and as he looks to the sky, he sees a giant eye watching them. he asks the master if he is having fun. He admits that he also used to enjoy playing this game, its crafting, tactics, strategies, and hidden features, even if he calls the game trash. He calls out to the 5th place ranker, Loki. He calls him the master of masters and tells him to watch as he survives until the very end. Bro has some personal beef with that player, I think. A message appears stating that the stage has been cleared and that Jenna has leveled up. As a reward, they receive gold, steel, copper, and leather. And the MVP is none other than RMC, Han, the 1-star hero. We see RMC sprinting in the training grounds, having accepted his fate, believing that whining is for children. He thinks to himself that there are only 2 ways for a hero to die: in battle or through synthesis, and that being a 1-star hero in this game is meaningless. They are disposable and of the lowest quality. They have low base stats and slow growth rates, and he fears that if he remains like this, he will eventually be synthesized. Sweating heavily while training, RMC declares that he must become stronger to survive, to take revenge, and to return. RMC does not know how things will unfold, but he knows he will die if he does not adapt, and will be devoured if he does not accept this world, reminding him of his days in the military. RMC begins doing crunches, stating that he must become physically and mentally strong, or he will not survive this place. He slashes a straw dummy, thinking about how he survived as an orphan, and that he needs to return to that mindset. RMC starts doing push-ups. And oh gonna line, this got me motivated to work out. Jenna approaches RMC and asks what he is doing. While continuing his push-ups, RMC replies that he is training to kill monsters. She asks why his tone is so harsh, but then lets it go. She picks up her bow and arrow and says that she spent the entire night thinking about their situation and what their next step should be, but admits she does not know if they can even get out of this place. She takes aim at the straw dummy and says that since her father was a hunter and archery is her hobby, she will not become a burden to him. She releases the arrow and says that whining and crying will not change anything. The arrow pierces straight through the dummy's face as she asks RMC if he knows how to survive here. RMC asks her if yesterday was the first time she fought in real life and how skilled she is with the bow, and she replies that she is average. RMC looks at her. A status screen appears showing she is level 2, class novice, with the skill low rank archery. RMC thinks to himself that even though her stats are lower than his, she possesses her own unique strength. He notices how quickly she moved on from the deaths of others, calls her a diamond in the rough, and tells her that he will help her. He extends his hand toward her in friendship. She takes his hand with a bright smile and sparkling eyes, saying her father always told her that connections are important in life, and asks if her dad is the greatest. Boys, we are stuck with a daddy's princess. RMC ignores the comment. He shakes her hand anyway, and a message appears stating that Jenna feels goodwill toward Han. An intimacy bonus has been created, granting stat bonuses when they form a party together. RMC calls out to Isel, asking if she is there. The mischievous pixie appears and yells at him, saying she is busy, but RMC remarks that she sure arrived quickly for someone so busy. She says she will not answer any of his questions and that he will get his answers only if he reaches the top of the tower, but RMC asks anyway, questioning if he is the only one who can see the stat windows above people's heads. This instantly shuts Isel up. She starts lying, claiming she has no idea what he is talking about, but RMC calmly states that Isel's level is displayed as 257. She panics and confirms it, asking if he can really see that, before calling him irritating. That reaction confirms to RMC that he is the only player who can see these windows. RMC asks what happens if the master quits, and Isel angrily tells him to just pray that he does not. RMC then asks if time here flows differently from Earth, causing Isel to yell that she already told him not to ask questions. RMC calmly concludes that time does flow differently and thanks her, which only makes her angrier as she calls him a 1-star piece of trash. He thinks to himself that Isel cannot directly harm him, as she can only interfere in self-defense or follow the master's orders, meaning he has to figure out the rules one by one and adapt. Jenna asks what they were talking about, and our MC explains that they must clear 100 stages of this tower. He adds that someone called the Master gives orders to Isel, and that if they complete all the missions and reach the 100th floor, they can return home, meaning they need to train even harder. Jenna asks if it is just the two of them, and our MC explains that the Master can summon more heroes. He concludes that ultimately, their lives are in the Master's hands. We see the layout of the area, with a walled training ground to the south connected to the synthesis room, and a town connected to the summoning room, as our MC explains that after spending a day here, he discovered several interesting rules of this world. Daily necessities are refilled each day, and by imagining something, it appears in a drawer or closet, though guns and similar items do not work. He also learned that training results differ, and that heroes can have different combat power even at the same rank. Training does not increase stats or levels, but instead refines skills. He believes that an observant master will soon categorize heroes into 3 groups. First, by mentality, as the master does not care for heroes who panic. Second, by skill, since high-ranking heroes are summoned with skills already learned, while low-ranking talents have hidden potential. Third, by physical capability. That is why our MC continues running and training relentlessly. It is now the 3rd day of training, and the master has finally logged in. Our MC is now level 5, rank novice, with skills low-rank swordsmanship and shield technique, and he tells Jenna to be ready because the master is here, but Jenna replies already, confusing him since it has only been 3 days. A window appears showing that the master has begun summoning, and our MC predicts that he will summon 3 more heroes, as a party usually consists of 5. 3 heroes are summoned, Aaron, Toby, and Yelsons, all 1-star heroes, all confused about where they are. Jenna tells them to get ready to fight, and says she will explain everything later. Once again, Isel chants to open the crack of space and time, and the giant door begins to open. All the newly summoned heroes join their party. Our MC tells Jenna to get her weapons ready, standing firm with his sword and shield while Jenna readies her bow and arrows, as the remaining 3 stand empty-handed. Boys, I don't think they are going to survive long. A tip appears, the same one as before, stating that heroes without weapons will enter the dungeon with an old iron sword. We see Isel trying to get new people to enter the dungeon, but they keep asking questions, while our MC contemplates how he has no weapons to give them since the previous ones died along with their owners. Jenna tries to hold back a bald man who is asking too many questions to the pixie, and we all know how that usually ends. The bald man assumes Jenna is working with the pixie and had a hand in summoning them here, while our MC does not bother reacting, knowing they will understand everything in a few minutes. Jenna and our MC head toward the portal, while the newly summoned people are still arguing with Isel. We then see Isel simply throw them into the portal and order them to follow everything she says, just like our MC and Jenna. The portal gate closes, and Isel smiles while saying have fun, as if she did not just throw them into a dungeon against their will. Everyone is teleported to the 2nd floor, and the quest is the same, kill all enemies. While the new summons stand around confused about where they are, our MC asks Jenna if she is ready. This time, wolves appear alongside the goblins. A message pops up stating that the new summons are in a state of fear and their stats have dropped by 30%. They look terrified, as just moments ago they were minding their own business, and now they are about to become food for hungry wolves. Another message shows that Jenna is also in a state of fear, and our MC asks if she is scared too. He jokingly asks if she ate something bad, trying to lighten the mood. Jenna yells at him not to scare her like that, but our MC calmly tells her to handle the goblins while he takes care of the wolves. A message appears stating that Jenna is no longer in a state of fear, while the new summons remain completely useless. 2 wolves charge at the team, and our MC raises his shield to defend. One wolf opens its mouth wide to bite our MC. Our MC opens his mouth to bite the wolf. Just kidding, he thrusts his sword straight into the wolf's open mouth. He looks closely and realizes the wolf is not dead, blaming the low-ranked weapon. He twists the sword while it is still lodged in the wolf's mouth, then drags it out through the other side, slashing the wolf cleanly in half. We see the wolf's body split into two as our MC calmly cleans the blood off his sword. He looks to the side just in time to see the second wolf lunging at him, and he blocks its bite with his shield at the last moment. The wolf is strong, and we can see our MC struggling to hold the attack. Luckily, his other arm has healed, and with a sword in hand, he swings at the wolf, though it manages to dodge. But not for long, as our MC catches up and slashes the wolf down just like the first one. Looks like all the training paid off. After dealing with the wolves, he scans the battlefield and asks what happened to the goblins. We see two goblins lying on the ground, their bodies completely covered in arrows. It's like acupuncture, but instead of small needles, it's big arrows. Jenna continues firing arrows into them as our MC asks how many she killed. He tells her to stop because they are already dead, and Jenna finally snaps back to her senses. A message appears stating that the stage is cleared. Our MC and Jenna have leveled up, and to no one's surprise, our MC is the MVP. This time, the rewards are 5,000 gold, iron ore, and leather. The team returns to their base with dead expressions on their faces, and surprisingly, the new summons also managed to survive. Another message appears stating that they will proceed to the third floor. Jenna cannot believe this is happening again, while our MC asks if Isel saw what happened on the second floor and points out that they are in no condition to enter the third floor. Our MC thinks to himself that players usually do not care about sending heroes into match after match, but they are clearly in no state to fight. He wonders what will happen next and how they are supposed to clear the third floor. Isn't our MC just lucky? A message appears stating that the master has logged off. Everyone lets out a sigh of relief. Isel suddenly appears and complains about how tiring everything is, while our MC angrily responds that they are the ones doing all the work, so how is she the one who is tired? She is the type of person who never contributes in team projects, but is always tired. Our MC starts using his brain again, thinking about how it is 1 floor per day and how they get 3 days of rest until the next login. He looks at his stats and begins evaluating how much his physique is improving. While he is lost in thought, the new summons start bombarding Jenna with question after question. He checks their statuses and sees that everyone summoned is a 1-star hero, all commoners who have never fought on the front lines before. He recalls the 2-star hero he encountered at the very beginning. He states that higher-ranked heroes do not hesitate, while 1-star heroes panic the moment they are thrown into battle. Meanwhile, 3-star heroes are always ready to fight, which makes our MC wonder if they already know they will be summoned and if they understand that their only purpose is to fight. He thinks about Shay, realizing she would have known the answer to that question. Jenna walks up to our MC and asks if it would really have hurt to help the others. I am on her side. If you explain them what is going on, they might be useful in the fights, but our MC does not bother explaining anything to other people. He coldly replies that there is no reason to explain anything to those useless bastards, but Jenna argues back, saying he could turn them into colleagues and that it is better than having none. We see the other 3 still struggling to understand their situation. One of them approaches our MC and says he has a question, but our MC tells him that only he and Jenna will fight in the next battle and that he should not worry. The man still insists on asking, but our MC ignores him and tells him to stop because it is annoying. The newly summoned bald man grabs our MC by the collar in frustration. Dude, you just saw him kill 2 monsters while you were just pissing your pants. Just use your last brain cells. He is immediately punched in the face by our MC, who calls him out, saying that while they were fighting, he was doing nothing but standing behind them. The other 2 new summons rush in and pull him away, while our MC turns to Jenna and asks if she is happy now, since he technically answered their questions. Our MC does not waste any time and continues training until the next day. After finishing his basic exercises, he moves on to weapon training. He repeatedly slashes the straw dummy while Jenna keeps shooting arrows, and the system shows that their skills have leveled up. Meanwhile, the other 3 never even show up at the training hall. They claim they are searching for an exit from this place. How have they not understood yet that there is no escape to this place? While they do that, Our MC and Jenna continue refining their skills on the dummies. One of Jenna's arrows accidentally strikes our MC in the leg. Jenna rushes over in panic and asks if he is okay. He calmly pulls out the arrow and tells her that he already said not to worry. He explains that this world is not the same as the physical world and that they heal quickly here, as a message appears stating that our MC has acquired a new skill, pain tolerance. He tells Jenna to keep going, saying he will not stop even if it hurts. That pain is the only proof that he is still alive. He tells her to keep shooting while he blocks every attack with his shield. Another system message appears stating that basic swordsmanship and shield technique are being combined into a new skill. Basic sword and shield technique has been acquired. Dude, that's such a lame name. We see the camp from above, looking strangely peaceful. Of course, that peace does not last, because Isel is there, yelling at our MC and Jenna to gather everyone in the square in case the master appears. We see Jenna doing light flexibility exercises as she warms up, and our MC comments that she looks more adapted than he is. In contrast, the three idiots are still desperately trying to return home. As expected, Isel does not need much of a reason to get angry. She launches herself at them, beating them while sarcastically shouting that she has wronged them so badly that she will write an apology letter. She keeps hitting them as they scream for help. She finally orders all three to go back, and with swollen faces, they quickly agree. Floor 3 begins, and the objective is to annihilate the enemies. Our MC stands ready with his sword and shield, Jenna prepares her bow and arrows, and the three idiots stay in the back line. Our MC charges forward and takes down a goblin in a single swift strike. Just like that, the third floor is cleared without a single casualty, and surprisingly, the MVP this time is Jenna. The rewards are 7,000 gold, iron ore, and leather, and our MC comments on how boring this is, while Jenna says it feels doable. Both of them glance at the three idiots, and Jenna points out that they still refuse to fight, while our MC is secretly happy since he does not want to share experience points with them. A tip appears stating that disobedient heroes should be made to run in circles to increase their activity. Our MC is confused, wondering what that message means and why this is not over yet, when another window appears asking if they want to attempt the first floor again. The team is teleported back to the first floor, and one of the newbies asks if this floor is safe, to which Jenna replies that maybe their master is not heartless after all. The same monsters appear again, just like the first time they cleared this floor. Jenna puts in minimal effort and wipes them all out. The stage is cleared, Jenna is MVP again, and the reward is 1,000 gold. Guys, is the MC changing? It feels like Jenna is the only one getting stronger. We see the master attempting the first floor again, and our MC realizes that if things keep ending this quickly, the master will not give them any rest. The team continues clearing the already completed floors again and again. We see the team finally starting to tire out, and Jenna asks if the master will send them to the same floor again. Fortunately for them, the master decides to end their misery and sends them back to camp, as one of the three idiots yells in frustration about seeing the same monsters over and over, while our MC calmly tells him not to worry, that this is it for today. Jenna asks what he means by that, and our MC explains that it looks like their master does not have enough time to cultivate insects. We see the doors of the synthesis room beginning to open. A message appears stating that the synthesis process has started. It is the first time the three idiots have seen this room, and they stare at it in confusion, not understanding what is happening. Our MC looks at them and thinks that they do not even realize what kind of opportunity they have been given. Our MC points out all the facilities of the camp one by one, starting with the crack of space and time where they go to fight, then the synthesis chamber, followed by the armory, then the floating docks, and finally the training hall and the summoning hall. As the synthesis room fully opens, our MC realizes that he has been given a huge chance. He explains that the master can see who is fighting and who is not, and that the master has clearly favored him and Jenna. Isel appears and yells at Jenna, ordering her to enter the synthesis chamber, and Jenna looks at our MC in fear, but he reassures her that she will be fine. One of the idiots asks our MC what will happen if they go inside, and our MC replies that they will be judged based on what they have done. The man shouts that all he did was get dragged here against his will, and our MC tells him to shut up, a response that Isel clearly likes. Our MC asks him what right he has to ask for help when he did nothing but panic, saying that if he had at least tried to fight, things might have been different, and the devilish pixie gets angry as well and orders him to go in already. The chamber door is shut. A message appears asking if they would like to continue with synthesis. Jenna stands inside calmly, while the idiot screams about how this could happen to him and begs to be let out. The synthesis process begins, and his body starts to evaporate. We see Jenna exiting the chamber, having acquired a new skill called Eagle's Eye, but she is confused as the other man disappears into light. Our MC explains that in this place, useless people are sacrificed, and he waits calmly, knowing his turn is next. He looks at the remaining idiots, and wonders which one of them will be used as a sacrifice for him. Isel appears at the perfect moment, and orders our MC and Toby to enter the synthesis chamber. Toby begins trembling in fear. While our MC calmly walks inside, Toby collapses to the ground, unable to move. The idiot foolishly believes he is being sent back home, and our MC does not bother explaining anything to him. In the next moment, Toby turns into light and disappears. Our MC emerges from the chamber, having leveled up and acquired the composure skill. He walks out without emotion. As he passes the last remaining idiot, he tells him how lucky he is. Jenna asks our MC if heroes who are no longer needed are erased in that room, and our MC asks why she looks so gloomy, questioning whether she was not tired of cleaning up after those useless heroes. She trembles in fear, wondering if she would meet the same fate if she ever became useless one day. Our MC tells her that as they climb higher, the monsters will grow stronger, and so will the summons, and that one day she might die in battle or be used as a sacrifice. Our boy is just heartless. He tells Jenna to remember what her father said if she wants to survive. The next day arrives, and they are back at the training grounds. As our MC is about to enter, Jenna suddenly shouts that from now on, she will be under his care, and our MC asks if she ate something bad. She explains that yesterday he said he would help her if she stood by his side, so she is simply making it clear that she is on his side. Our MC responds in a cold tone that she will not die as long as she does what she is required to do. The last remaining idiot approaches and asks if he can join them as well. I think bro received some brain cells after the other two idiots died, so it's true you are the average of your friend group. He apologizes for being a fool, says he will change, and promises to do whatever our MC tells him to do. Our MC asks how he can trust him, and the man starts begging, while Jenna says she is glad he finally came to his senses. Our MC asks if he has ever fought a monster before, and the man admits that he has not. Our MC throws a practice stick at him and tells him to start training. The man says he is not good with a spear, but he has heard it is one of the easiest weapons to master. Jenna comments that they now have melee with our MC, mid-range with the spear user, and long-range with herself, making them a well-rounded team. Our MC remarks that for 3 people with no skills, this is an extremely effective combination. He takes his stance, grips a practice sword, and tells the man to get ready to fight. The spear user panics and shouts that he does not know how to fight, but it is already too late, as our MC dashes toward him, saying that he learned to fight on his own, and that the man can do the same. Han starts slashing at the spear user again and again, forcing him to retreat step by step, until the man finally closes his eyes and tries to launch an attack of his own. Boys, this is where he learns his first lesson. Our MC casually asks if closing his eyes in the middle of battle is really a good idea, and follows it up with a kick straight to the spear user's stomach. The kick makes the spear user puke, and our MC coldly asks if that is all he can do, even when his life is not on the line. Jenna tries to calm Han down, saying it is his first day, but our MC replies that he is not willing to carry dead weight, and will leave him behind if he cannot keep up. Han asks the spear user if he has a family, and the man says yes, he has a little sister, so our MC states that this should motivate him even more, because he is fighting despite having no one. Our MC points his sword at the spear user's neck and asks what will happen to his sister if he never makes it back. He scares him further by saying that dying to a monster would be painful, and that getting synthesized might actually be the better option. The spear user grits his teeth at that comment. Our MC likes that. He sees anger building in the spear user's eyes and says that his eyes look better now. A message appears stating that the blacksmith forge has been upgraded and that it will cost 500 gems. Our MC notices it and says that the blacksmith is now available. Our MC calls out to Isel, and she complains about him giving her orders, but our MC is already bored of that response. He asks if she gives tips to the master and whether she can access the internet. Isel replies that she can, and that web surfing is her hobby, so our MC says that the tips she shared with the master came from a strategy forum. Isel is shocked and asks how he knows that, and our MC replies that he is a pick-me-up user who reads popular posts on the official forum, and that Loki was the one who uploaded it, which shocks her even more. Isel still mocks our MC, calling him the lowest of low heroes, and says that Loki is the master, the god of the pick-me-up game, and that he would have been rank 1 if he had a 7-star hero. Isel is such a fangirl of Loki. Our MC smirks and asks why she likes Loki so much, and she replies that it is because he turns the impossible into possible. Our MC says he feels sorry for her, and Isel stops her rant about Loki. She turns serious and asks what he means by that. Our MC looks at Isel and says that he is Loki. Our boy is the rank 5th player in the entire world of Pick Me Up. Isel immediately says he is lying, but our MC responds by giving her his account number. He explains that an account number is private information and cannot be known by anyone except the player, and asks her to check it. Isel opens her system and cannot believe her eyes, realizing that our MC is telling the truth, he is really Loki. Isel completely breaks down, asking for his autograph and saying she will become the top member of the Ragnar Loki Club. Our MC asks what the Ragnar Loki Club is while giving her his autograph, and she explains that it is a Loki fan club, and that having his autograph will let her climb to the top rank in it. Our MC says he has never even heard of it, while Isel internally panics about how she has been talking arrogantly to the real Loki this whole time. She suddenly remembers something and asks what will happen to Niflheimr without him, and our MC says he has no idea. She explains that Niflheimr is his lounge and one of the best in the system. She then asks what will happen to the 20,000 troops there, and our MC replies that if she is so worried, she can just send them off. Isel says she cannot do that, and our MC replies that he knows she is just a mid-level admin who gets pushed around. Our MC gets serious and asks if the master of this account is a human, and if the other summons are not AI, and Isel confirms that is true, adding that the origin of this world is different. She explains that the master is just a player who enjoys the game, and does not know that the heroes are real living people facing real danger. Our MC asks if reaching the 100th floor will let him return to Earth, but Isel says she does not know for sure. Our MC moves to his next question and asks who brought him here, but Isel hesitates. She apologizes, and our MC says it is fine, and that for now he will focus on climbing the tower. He then asks how much authority Isel actually has under the master, and she replies that she only supports his choices and gives tips. He asks if other masters' lounges are the same as this one, and she says they are slightly different, but the base system is the same. Our MC thinks to himself that around 1 million worlds like this probably exist. He realizes that the entire Mobius summoning system is a lie. He thinks about how his careless decisions back when he was a player might have been death sentences for real people. He tells Isel that if she wants to climb the tower, she will have to listen to him, and that he will help her, and the fangirl immediately starts jumping in excitement. We return to the training grounds.